The external validation has been my favorite part of this. Hi, and welcome back to Running Rants with Helen. As always, I'm Helen, and this is where I rant and talk about whatever I want. And today we are on the Bolinas Ridge Trail, like up above Simpson Beach in Marin County. We were just at the beach, which was super nice, and now we're out here jogging again. Yeah, and today I wanted to talk about why I decided to make this YouTube channel. Someone asked me recently, and I know it just kind of had me thinking about it. Yeah, and so I guess I don't think there was like really one main thing that made me think, yeah, I should be a YouTuber. Okay, real quick, it is honestly incredible that Jacob is able to ride the one wheel on this. I'm impressed. There's a lot of bumps and sticks. Really, it's kind of the sticks. But yeah, back to that. I don't think it was really like one main thing. I feel like there were kind of a lot of things in like small parts. I think the first and most important reason is I wanted to. I'm generally really bad at doing things that I don't want to do. And so, yeah, it just wasn't going to be very consistent if it wasn't something that I wanted to do. And I feel like the way that we've set it up makes it a lot easier for me. Just because, I mean, I'm running and I'm already going to run, and I talk a lot while I run. And so then now it's just like I'm talking a lot while I'm running with Jacob, which already happens lots of times during the week. And then also I thought it'd be fun to learn a new skill like video editing. I feel like it's useful, and like learning how to use Premiere I think has been good for me, and like figuring out how to make thumbnails with graphic design. I don't know, why else did I want to make YouTube? Cash money. No, I'm totally kidding. I've made, well, I guess technically I've made like $70 from this. Definitely not the money, but I think part of it too is like, I have very limited social media requirements in my contract. And I think I've talked about this, like I don't think the reason for that is so I do the bare minimum. I think it's so it gives me like creative freedom to be able to social media however I want. And yeah, and like whichever ways, like, yeah, and just like the way that like feels most like me. And I honestly don't really mind Instagram, like I don't mind posting on there, but I feel like sometimes when I write things, then it just ends up being really long, and I know no one's gonna read it, and so then I like cut it down a bunch, but then I feel like I'm not even like completely getting the point across that I wanted to. And then I just feel like, I don't know, the way that you write things, I guess like just things can get really misinterpreted in writing, and how you write it really matters, and I feel like sometimes I'm not that good at it. And so then I feel like in this form, I literally just yap for like 20 to 30 minutes, and somehow someone's listening to it. It's kind of crazy, but I feel like I'm able to like express my thoughts a lot better and easier this way. And yeah, I think like with my current setup right now, I have a lot of time, and I think that just makes it, I don't know, I feel like something that I've always said, oh, tree got him. I feel like something I've always said about my experience of being a professional athlete is I want to take advantage of all of the opportunities I'm given, and I think this is kind of one of those opportunities because I have the time and energy to do this. And I don't know that my life circumstances will always allow it. And so, yeah, I feel like that was a big part of it too. I mean, there's like for sure a decent amount of trail running content out there. I feel like more lately, but I feel like as a fan of the sport, like I always find it interesting to see what other people are doing or how they think about things, because I feel like it varies so much across the sport. I think a big part is like the creative freedom thing, and also with that, my barrier to entry for this was like none, because I have wonderful Jacob who can ride a one wheel and hold a gimbal and has all the mics and has all the equipment and like knew how to do all of this. And so I feel like that has also made it so much easier for me. And then when it comes to video editing, like I can ask him any question instead of just trying to like figure out how to even word things to Google them. I think a lot of this idea kind of came about, so I feel like we had been thinking about it, but then even like my coach, Rick, when we were in France, said that maybe it would be a good idea. And I feel like that had us just like start thinking about ways in which it would work for me and be sustainable, because I know, like, I think at one point I want to do like a day in the life video, but generally I'm not a person who really wants to film everything or spend a ton of time editing. And so I feel like we found a way that, yeah, it just makes sense for like me and my life and the amount of time and energy I want to put into it. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of an interesting thing, because generally I don't really feel like what I have to say is like that special or important. But I think I also like kind of felt a gap in like what I was sharing on Instagram and like how I was really feeling about things, because I just feel like so many things are just like a bit more nuanced than you can get into like in an Instagram post. So I feel like this is like kind of allowed me like an outlet for that, which I think has been cool. Yeah, I mean, then I guess maybe I do think what I have to say is a little important, because here I am doing this and like spending time and energy on it. Yeah, I don't know. I think even when it comes to race recaps, I always have like a lot more to say than I ever put on Instagram. So I feel like for that, like this has been fun. I think also, I guess something along with that is I don't know. I have had like some hard times with social media, just because it creates like such a weird like parasocial relationship. I guess like where I'm at with like Instagram and stuff is fine, but in the past I feel like I kind of had a hard time with it, just because I don't know, it like creates like these parasocial relationships where I guess before I was sponsored by North Face, like most of the people that followed me, like I had either met or like I knew them, and so it was kind of like a multi-directional relationship. Like they were seeing into my life as much as I was seeing into theirs. But then when like the North Face thing happened, a bunch of people I didn't know started following me all at once, and I kind of had like an existential crisis about how all these people like think that they know me, but they don't. It's just like their interpretation of what I've decided to put on the internet. And I think even before that, like I deleted Instagram for a long time because that whole concept was really messing with me. And just, yeah, people thinking that they knew me, but they don't, because it's just what I choose to put out. And so I feel like if I have to post on social media, like whether or not that's me deciding that's something I have to do or an outside source, whatever, like I think that this way has felt better for me, and like that what I am putting out is like truly what I think and not, I don't know, you know, the whole highlight reel thing. I don't know, I feel like through this, people get a better sense of like who I am and the way that I think about things. I think generally too, like if I sit and talk to a camera, I think a lot more about what I'm saying. Whereas when I'm running, I just like kind of whatever pops into my head and comes out of my mouth. So I feel like that's also generally just happens when I'm running compared to when I'm talking to people, not exercising.
Talk about the interactions you have with people on YouTube versus like the interactions you have with people on Instagram.
Yeah, well, generally, I mean, there was a weird time on my Instagram where, I don't know, it's always men, but, well, actually not always, but mostly, like saying weird things or like, I don't know, I don't really love getting advice when I don't ask for it. Or like people just asking me to make them routes, which like probably comes from a good place, but like, I don't even like making my own routes. I don't want to make strangers routes. But I've like blocked a very, very extensive list of people on Instagram. And I feel like, I mean, you could take that however you want it, but for me, it's better because then I like protect my peace. I don't get my panties in a bunch about things. I have less creepy dudes in my DMs. So, and then I don't know, YouTube, people always say the YouTube comments are a lot worse, but maybe it's just like the group of people on YouTube for me right now is a lot smaller. And I don't know, I've like enjoyed what people have to say, and it also normally means that they had to watch my whole video, so.
There seems to be a lot more like dialogue, like actual legitimate questions and answers kind of going on in that comment section.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that just kind of comes from like, once again, this, I think, gives like a more real like glimpse into like who I am and how I think, whereas Instagram doesn't. And at least with YouTube, like if you're gonna say weird shit, you have to say it for everyone to see. Like, and on Instagram, people can just like message you weird things. So, I don't know, I mean, I guess like usernames or whatever, like probably you can still hide behind it, but yeah.
Cool.
I don't know how to block anyone on YouTube, so everyone watch yourself. I'm totally kidding.
You touched on it a little bit, but talk about like, it's really important for you to keep the creative process kind of minimal for these and the editing process minimal. Like for someone who's new at it, it seems like you've been really consistent, you've been posting every week. Like what makes that possible for you?
I think at the end of the day, this isn't my job, running is my job, and that takes a lot of time. But I do have time outside of that, but also I've kind of like merged the two. So like for doubles and whatnot, or warm-ups or cool downs, I could do this, and I feel like it doesn't really take away from what I'm doing because I already just don't shut up when we run. So now it's just like, there's a camera and I have a mic on. And so I think like just keeping it within like what I do normally has made it a lot easier, and like the time commitment just feels a lot more manageable just because I do have other things to do. But yeah, I think we figured out a way. I could do it differently, but I found that this works and I like doing it, and I feel like I'm still learning how to do things. And I mean, over time it can change too. Like I said, I want to do like a day in the life video or like some other ones that aren't necessarily just like me running and talking. But I like that this is kind of just like the staple of what I'm doing.
Real simple, but like what's been your favorite part of having a YouTube channel so far? You've had it for a few months now and been consistent about it. What's been cool about it?
honestly, it's been cool to see like how many people in my actual like life watch it, because I don't know. And I mean, I could see views or whatever, but it's been fun that like, I don't know, people that I wouldn't expect to watch it have like, if I've seen them in person, they've been like, oh, I really like it. I don't know, that part's been kind of cool. Yeah, I think that's been my favorite part.
Yeah.
The external validation has been my favorite part of this, which I guess is true, but I wish I could have made it sound better.
Okay, and then like what's one thing maybe you didn't expect that's been tough about it?
Thinking of ideas. I feel like I talk so much, but like, I guess thinking of subjects that are long enough that I have enough to say and I don't just sound like a hater. Yeah, I guess I feel like I talk about so many things when I run, but a lot of the times, like, I either have someone to talk to about it, and here it's literally just me. So there's like not dialogue really. I mean, I have Jacob to ask questions like this one, but I feel like that's part of it too, is I just gotta keep it rolling. And yeah, I feel like sometimes I have enough to say about a subject for like 3 minutes, and then I think I feel really passionate about it, and then I realize I don't. So yeah, sometimes the ideas, sometimes they just come to me, and sometimes I feel like it takes a bit more. This has been another episode of Running Rants with Helen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.